I don't know why. All my friends say I need to write a book on how to get over a narcissist. And I might one day, you know. For me, he's not messaged me for like 24 hours. What the freaking hell are you doing? Who are you with then?
I get that. So any relationship can go wrong, as we know.
Yeah.
And I get that. That poses its own risk.
But from a distance, you are protecting yourself because, and that's what I mean, a long distance relationship. I have my guard up. So something long distant, I've not got to let you in straight away.
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on this channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I've got a great conversation lined up for you today. You know, on this channel, we like to talk about all things dating and seeing what we can do to attract the kind of relationship that we want. So without further ado, please welcome Billie to the show. Billie, welcome.
Hello, everybody.
How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. She just told us she just came from church. So she's been one with the Lord, and now we're going to do some degeneracy. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
That's a sin.
It is a sin, and we keep it partially sin-free, partially. But I like to jump in. So first, tell us your age or your age range, and one thing a guy should know about you if he wants to take you on a date.
So I am 27, and if a guy wanted to take me on a date, I think I would first ask the relationship with their mum.
Ooh, say more. What do you mean?
Yeah. So normally in like relationships, a man will treat his woman how he would treat his mum. Like the caring side and things like that. So if a man doesn't have a good relationship with his mum, it's usually because he doesn't treat her right.
Interesting. So interesting how you're like, it's because he doesn't treat her right, not she doesn't treat him right, because even though she's the parent in the relationship.
Yeah, but I think like a humble man would see past that, regardless to, you know, sometimes mums can go through things and then they're like, I just think real men look past that and accept it, forgive it, and treat them well.
Interesting. I'm not saying that obviously a guy should treat his mother badly, obviously. But it just sounds like you're making the responsibility for that relationship to be on him, where really it's going to be on the mother. Because
I think it works both
parent.
ways. I get what you're saying, but in the same sense, the majority of men nowadays do treat their mum really well. I think.
I would say so. I like to think so, yeah.
I think the older generation qualities in a man are coming back.
Yes. What are those qualities?
So the provider.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
No, it's usually that's the first one everyone goes to. They're like, well, can he provide?
Yeah, like the provider, the carer, the protector. And I think that's important for a woman.
It is. Though, is it a realistic expectation to expect a man to provide entirely for a woman today?
I don't think so. Not with like the costs of like living and things like that.
And women have equality now as well. Yeah.
I do feel like now an income from one person isn't enough, depending on what he's doing for work. So I do think it is a two-way street now. But yeah, I think it's too...
I mean, I'll be honest. I think if you're a woman and if you're with a man where you don't have to work, that's a luxury.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, because most households need two incomes to survive, for sure. Yeah, interesting about the mother thing. I do agree with you, but I would say how he treats the woman he's taken seriously is how he would treat his mum. Because if he's not taking the woman seriously, he doesn't really, do you see what I'm saying?
But I think, why would you stay around if you don't think that he's treating you seriously anyway?
Well, some women do. Why do you think they do?
No.
No? Have you never stayed around for a guy and you were like, I know this isn't really serious, but I'll stay?
No.
That's good.
I think every relationship I've been in, I've been in 3. I think all of them the intentions have been to be forever, especially my first.
Yeah.
I've never just been with someone and thought, oh, you know, it is what it is kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? But in the end, they've turned out being that because they're not who they deceived themselves to be from the start. And a man can only hold that act for so long, which is why now, if I'm dating a guy or I'm seeing a guy, I won't think anything serious until like a year in.
So then, would you be intimate with him?
I would after a certain amount of time, and if they made me feel comfortable enough to be intimate with them, then of course, yeah. And if you have that connection.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so let me give you a hypothetical. If you started dating a guy and let's say you start being intimate after like 4 or 5 months, you're saying you wouldn't want to establish the relationship until like another 6 months?
I think so. I think I would still, before we put a label on it or made things really serious.
Yeah.
I want to know the bad traits as well before I then commit to that.
I hear that.
And I've been in a relationship in my past that he deceived himself to be someone he really, really wasn't. Like complete opposite.
Okay.
And within that year, I'd thrown myself at him. I'd given him all the loyalty. I had listened to what he was telling me I had to do to be with him. Like really abusive, controlling. And in the end, I thought, if I just had my brick wall up for that little bit longer, I would have prevented all of that.
I have the brick wall though. I don't think that's healthy. Just because you did the right thing by the wrong guy doesn't mean you did the wrong thing. I think what it could mean is that maybe you didn't recognize the signs of the kind of character that he was.
Yeah.
So it's not that now you should go with any relationship being like, cool, I have this brick wall. I have like my guard up entirely, because the good guy who is intentional with you and wants to be genuine with you, if he can't connect with you, he'll be like, okay, I'm not connecting with her. Is that because I just don't connect with who she is? Or that's because she's not ready for that? Whatever it is, I can't find that here. Whereas I think it's more about recognizing the signs that a guy is actually one way, regardless of what he's saying. Because in hindsight, I guess I'd ask you, are there things that now you're reflecting back and you're like, oh, that thing that I saw on month 2, that's what this meant. And that's what this was. So in hindsight, you're like, okay, now you're recognizing those signs as opposed to being like, now I have my guard up. Because I think that doesn't actually serve you if you look for something serious.
I think it doesn't, but I feel like I'm still on that healing journey, so I am still learning, and at the moment it is at that stage where I'm like,
yeah, you're just not ready.
I'm not, and I mean, it's not that I'm not ready. I think it's more I want to know that I'm in the right frame of mind, because the toxic traits that I carry myself now, it's unfair I'm putting that strain on another person for my past relationships issues. So I think until I'm over that, I won't openly give like a man a chance.
I think that awareness is amazing for sure. And I think we all should have that. Be like, okay, even if I can't control their behavior and they weren't great for me, what was I doing that didn't support this, or like that facilitated this, or what was I doing that didn't serve myself or didn't serve the relationship for sure. What's something that you would say you look for now because you've gone through that experience in the guy early on that you didn't look for before?
So first of all, now it's not solely I go on looks.
Great.
Because that was always my thing. Because I was like,
well, I could have told you you're going to go down a treacherous path with that. I could have told you that just on looks.
I know, but I was so young and I didn't understand like looks wasn't everything, and I never thought that I could have feelings for someone that wasn't my type. I was very picky. Like I always go for like the pretty boys that are on steroids and in the gym and love themselves so much that they have no love to give anyone else. And that becomes the arrogant, like they become arrogant. And then they actually knock your confidence to elevate themselves because they're actually insecure.
Interesting.
That's why they're on the steroids. That's why they're in the gym all the time. I'm not saying all men that go to the gym do that.
Sure.
But the guys that are on the steroids, they're doing it because they're insecure of what they have. So it's a quick and easy way just to get bigger so they feel more comfortable. But then as soon as they're coming off them steroids, because a lot of men cannot manage their emotions on them, you deflate really quickly.
Yeah.
And then you become depressed, sad, don't feel good enough for anyone. And that's when men get confused when they're using the steroids. It's a temporary fix.
Very true.
And then the ego is then so big because you're getting all this attention from women and men as well, that when you stop that, because you do have to, because it's really, really bad for you.
Yeah, of course.
You then hit a complete low that you never ever thought you could hit because you don't feel good. You don't look like who you used to be. If you do it organically and authentically, that's always going to be like your shape.
How did you take it when you found out like the guy you were with, that he was on roids? Like how far along did you find that out?
See, I didn't care. My husband used to be on steroids.
Right.
I supported that. You know, I'd make his meals and stuff. I didn't know. I was so young that you don't see the side effects to being with a man on steroids.
Yeah, of course.
Until you're in that. And it was the rage, the roid rage. And again, a lot of men will say only idiots don't know how to control it, which I don't agree with. Every person I've been with that's been on steroids or...
How many people have you been with that have been on steroids?
I mean, all three of them.
Okay, so you clearly have a type. Yeah. She has a type. Guy roided up like Dwayne Johnson.
Oh no. And so... Sorry, what did you say again?
No, you were saying about the road rage and you said that guys who can't handle the roid rage are stupid.
And it's beyond like the things I've seen and dealt with myself just because of that. And then it's always, I'll come off of the steroids. I'll promise I'll make it work. And they don't, because again, like I said, they become depressed, upset, and then they start taking out on you because it's your fault that you've asked them to stop.
What do you think the equivalent is for women? So if guys is like the steroids thing because it validates them in certain ways.
I think for women it's makeup, hair extensions, lip filler, all of that stuff, Botox. If you take that all away from a woman that has that done all the time, she's going to feel so down. Like girls always say all the time, like, I can't wait to get my lashes done, or I can't wait to have my lips redone and make me feel better about myself. I think that's equivalent to a man on steroids.
That makes sense. I agree. Is there so much confidence for women when she gets her boobs done, her lips done, she does all this stuff? Does that become the source of her confidence for some women?
I think so. Like, I think every woman and men have a lot of things they don't like about themselves. Of
course, we all do.
Yeah. And when they have that thing done that they don't like, I had a friend that wasn't happy with something. She had that done and she was so confident, like more or less straight away. And then there was another problem. She didn't like something else. And this is where girls end up in that trap and you are never, ever going to be happy. You have your boobs done and then over like a period of time, you want something else done, but then you want the first thing that you ever got done again because it doesn't look like how it used to be.
How it used to.
So you are spending your whole life in a cycle of fixing this, fixing that. And in the end, it just looks ridiculous.
It's so true. Do you think there's an element of that with attention, especially online from women from other guys?
I think so. And I think with like editing and filters and things like that, there is a lot of girls that I even know that make their bums look so much bigger. So they want BBLs and they make their boobs look more rounder. Then they want the boob job, but that's because they see so many girls having that. They look at themselves and they're like, I feel like crap now because I don't look like that.
Even if they're already getting quite a lot of attention from men, do they still feel they have to go out and do that? Because if you're an attractive girl, you're going to be getting attention from guys. Do you know what I
personally feel like it doesn't matter the amount that you have the attention off guys.
Okay.
If you're an insecure person like myself, I'm really, really insecure. I'm not as confident as people believe I am. Right. But my brother told me, like, you just got to fake it.
Fake it till you make it.
You got to fake it because you can be, I think everyone's beautiful in their own ways, but you could be not that great. But if you are so confident, you make other people believe, okay,
there's something about you.
There's something about you. I really like it.
Yeah.
And that's always stuck with me. So I just pretend that I'm confident. I pretend that I love myself and things like that when it couldn't be any more of a lie.
Wow. I appreciate the honesty and the vulnerability and realness. What would
I don't know, but I feel like it doesn't matter the amount of attention that you get off men. I have quite a lot of attention off men and that doesn't make me feel better. That doesn't make me feel beautiful. Like, you can have someone tell you 10 times a day, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. But if you don't believe it yourself, it doesn't matter. It's just another comment.
Yeah. What if it comes from someone that you love deeply? Does that make a difference?
No.
Wow.
Just because if you feel that way about yourself, it doesn't matter who said it. It doesn't matter how many people say it.
Right.
That's conditioned in your brain to think, no, I'm not that way. You're just saying it to make me feel better.
But why would they want to make you feel better? What's the incentive for them?
I just think it's nice, isn't it? Like, are you saying I look beautiful today because I actually look like crap?
You know what? I can understand that because I feel like, and this is going to sound very harsh, I feel like women will do that for each other.
Yeah.
Guys, we don't do that. Like, if you're looking like shit, we're like, bruh, you are not on point today. You need to sort yourself out.
Yeah.
But I think that comes more from women, where they'll say like, oh, you look absolutely gorgeous and stuff. But inside she's like, I'm just saying that so you feel better. And I guess there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But then I think what can happen is it can, depending on where that person sits within themselves, it can inflate an ego unnecessarily so. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But I don't know. I think we just do it because as women, I'm telling you, all of us, it doesn't matter how confident they are, all of us will have times where we're like, I don't feel good and I know I don't look good.
Sure.
And then me as a friend, I say to my friends all the time, like, oh, you look beautiful, you look beautiful. But I will honestly say, if you look crap.
How will you say it?
To my closest friends.
How will you say it? Because you won't say it like that.
I'll say, oh, you're looking a bit.
You're looking a bit.
Like, are you feeling okay? You don't look well.
You okay?
Yeah.
Just like, I'm ready. You're like, you gonna go change?
Yeah. And I mean, I've just met up with my friend recently. She's just come out of a really toxic relationship. And she was stunning. Like, unbelievable. And when she turned up at mine, I was like, wow, you look rough.
Right.
And she's like, I know. Let's fix. Can you help fix me? Because I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I don't know why, but I always attract women that have boyfriend issues. Always.
What do you mean?
So a lot of my friends that I have boyfriend issues. And then they go off with their boyfriends or they make new boyfriends and I won't hear from them. Mm-hmm. And then it goes wrong and they're at my front door and they're like, can you help me? I don't know what to do. So, and I don't know why. It's always a conversation that comes up with other friends that I meet out at events and stuff. It's always the conversation of, yeah, my boyfriend's not that great. And I don't know why. I'll never understand why. And it's the same with men. A lot of men that I've had conversations with, it's been, you know, one of the guys that I spoke to last year, I still speak to him now because he's born again Christian. He converted because he was a drug addict.
Oh, wow.
And bad. He'd relapsed so many different times. And he was like, can you help me? And I was like, this guy, he's got so many followers. Why have you approached me? And I don't know what it is. It's like I've got that attraction to people with problems.
Maybe you have such a healing energy that people see.
I think so.
And they're just like, I feel like they, at least if they talk to you, maybe because you've been like, just this conversation, you've been so real and open and honest.
Yeah.
And I think that can honestly be really rare to find, especially to do that with someone you don't know. We literally just met, right?
Yeah.
So I think because you kind of have the confidence, like you're like, this is who I am, these are my strengths, this is what I'm working on, people feel safe with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably why it happens. So I think it's actually because of a good quality you have, not because of a bad quality you have. Does that make sense? No, I don't think
it's a bad quality, and I actually enjoy it a lot. Like, I've another woman from Scotland, she was in a really abusive relationship for 10 years. And I every day would speak to her. She'd be messaging me like, oh, he's messaged me or he's contacted me. What do I do? And the whole 6 months I spent every day messaging her saying, this is what you do next. This is what you have to do. Although I can't take my own advice. I can try my hardest.
That's the case, right?
And I'm like, you need to ignore him. You need to not respond. Even if it's horrible, do not react. Because any reaction is a good reaction to a narcissist.
Sure.
And I don't know why. All my friends say I need to write a book on how to get over a narcissist. And I might one day, you know. But yeah, so I monitored her every day for 6 months, telling her what to do, what not to do, the next steps, how to get away from it all. And I don't know why. The same with the guy, the drug addict guy. He's 6 months clean. He's going through baptism and converted to Christianity.
Yeah. Interesting, because funny you say about taking your own advice, because I'm not asking you about something.
Yeah.
So, you kind of said about how your brother said, fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah.
And that, even if somebody doesn't, they haven't optimized their own looks and their own aesthetics and appearance and stuff, if they could grow in that area, you're like, if they have a level of confidence, there can be something about them.
Yeah.
Right? Have you ever been attracted to a guy where at first you really weren't about what he looked like and stuff?
Yeah.
And then, you're like, oh, there is actually something about him, even though aesthetically he's not really what I go for.
Yes, which is where I learned now recently. Well, over the last year.
Yeah.
I went for a guy that wasn't my type. Complete opposite.
Okay.
Literally. He is the complete opposite. I can't even tell you how different he is. But I had the best relationship with him. I was very comfortable. It was a level thing as well. So I now agree with personality. Fall in love with someone for their personality, not for what they look like, not for what they bring to the table, but personality, because that's all that you have left in the end.
Big facts, 100%.
And for me, he was like my best friend, very confident, but I equally felt like I was punching, although he wasn't my type.
Was it the quality of his character?
It was his character. He was very gentle with me, but very firm.
Yeah.
And I need that. And that's where I went for the wrong men, because I needed that controlling type of behavior, but it was too extreme.
Right.
I need that guidance. I need that I'm the man kind of thing.
You wanted leadership.
Yeah. But being really gentle with me at the same time. And I never had that before.
But good leadership. Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Which is why I feel like he was much older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I feel like that's maybe the maturity side of it as well. I have to be with someone mature, although I'm really immature. Doesn't make any sense. But someone like this, my best friend. And I think the more girls actually go outside their comfort of going for a guy that they wouldn't normally go for.
Yep.
If you do, I was speaking to him online for like 4 months before I even met him.
4 months?
And in them 4 months, I already was like,
that's a lot.
I actually think I might have feelings for him. That seems bizarre. And I always thought like online, you can't catch feelings for anyone. But I don't know what happened here.
He obviously made you feel seen, heard, and maybe even loved in that time. Yeah.
I mean, for him, in the end, I felt that I don't know how that I'm going to find out with someone else. Because the love was so strong, the friendship was really, really strong.
Yeah.
But I probably was a bit of stress.
Okay, I hear that. Hey, listen, you're very honest. She's very honest. We appreciate that. What would you say to the women who are so used to picking the guy because of looks primarily, and they're so used to meeting a very attractive guy, that instant chemistry is there, and they're so used to having that kind of level of spark and fireworks in the beginning because the attraction is so intense? What would you say to those women who are like, I don't know how to give a guy that I just don't find that attractive a chance, because they're so used to being with guys who are so attractive that when they come across maybe a guy who's not that attractive but could be a great person, like really good for them, they're like, I don't feel that spark. What would you say to those women? I would just say to them, give it time. Like, you can't force feelings. You really can't. I've been in a situation like that where I should have been with someone and I just couldn't, because I couldn't find him attractive. I couldn't love him. I didn't even like him. Right. But he was such a good person that I really wanted to want to be with him. Yes. But I'd say to the women that are stuck in that place where they're like, I really just want a really nice guy. I think social media actually has its positives in that sense. Just generally give them time. You don't have to meet straight away. Have that time to just build a relationship. Then you know it's genuine. Then you know it's real. And by doing that, you just speak daily, talk about everything. Like, honestly, I never been a day without speaking to this guy. Not one. That is honestly, fair play to him, because I don't know how many guys would be up for talking to a girl online for like 4 or 5 months and not even meet with her. Yeah. Especially if it's every day. I know. I'll be honest with you, Billie. I would not do that. I would not talk every day for 4. Like, if we're talking every day and you don't want to meet with me after the first week, you're just not that into me. So this is where you haven't experienced that feeling before. Of what?
if you started speaking to a girl, bearing in mind there was no intentions there.
Why have I started speaking to her?
Like, I don't know, maybe she popped up to a story. Maybe you popped up to a story and then you just start bantering. Like, you're just getting along, you're having
There's
a bit of a laugh.
an intention, Billie. You're not that naive. Come on.
No, but you're having but I'm being honest. Like, the right man will wait. He really will. On the other podcast, they said the same. No man's gonna wait. No.
I disagree with that. I don't think no man's gonna wait. But I don't think there's any right or wrong. But I think, because here's the thing. In that situation, it worked for him because you actually reciprocated feelings.
Yeah.
There are so many situations where a guy will be talking to a girl for so long, will be giving her that level of investment, will be there for her for so long, and she will still go with someone else. So I think and this is why I'm like, because if you actually saw him and you found him attractive initially, I don't think it would have taken you 4 months to meet with him. I don't think it would have.
Maybe not.
And that's what I'm saying.
But then again, normally in this generation, normally a guy that doesn't look like that doesn't get the women
that look like you.
That. Not look like me, but
I get what you're saying. I'll say it for you. I'll say it for you.
But yeah, because they don't get them feelings.
But that's my point though. Because if we're just being completely, it's going to sound shallow, but completely objective.
Right.
Especially because we're talking about social media, right? So it starts on looks. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Sure. If a guy is trying to punch above his league, per se, looks-wise, he has to put in that work.
Yeah.
Because what other chance is he going to get unless he does that? He has to be able to give you something that the other guys who maybe are more on your league or your level won't give you. That's what makes you give him a chance.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if he was already on a similar level to you, if he was already at that threshold where you looked at him, I'm not saying that you have to look at him and be like, he's the most attractive guy I've seen, but where you looked at him where he had a level of physical attraction for you, where you're like, okay, he's not the most attractive guy, but he's got a little something that I'm curious about. If he was at that point, it wouldn't have taken you that long. But it's because he wasn't at that point, he had to do more for you to get to a point that you're like, okay, yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily the case of I didn't want to meet him because I wasn't attracted to him. I'd already built feelings with him through social media.
How long?
Quite fast, because he had the banter, because he was really funny. I also saw he was opening up a bit. So he was becoming vulnerable for me. And as a woman, that we find that really attractive. So if you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable, we will then do it back.
So would you have met with him within the first couple of weeks?
So I would never, no. Why? What's the rush?
Well,
it's nervous. What's the rush? It's very scary as well, you know.
Well, not what's the rush, but why not though? Because if after 2 weeks you've talked to him every day, right? So you've already got to know him for a certain point. And even people who match on dating apps, they don't even always talk every day. Like the messages are like a few messages over the course of a week. I
mean, it wasn't intentional.
Sure, but that's my point, right? So that's even more of a reason where you're like, if you're talking every day for 2 weeks, you've built up a level of rapport more so than most people.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're like still being like, I wouldn't have met with him.
No, and I honestly believe if I met up with him as soon as that, it wouldn't have been what it was.
Why?
I don't know. Because I feel like over time you build more of a connection.
If he was your typical type physically with the personality he had, do you think after meeting for 2 weeks, then it probably would have continued the way it did?
Probably.
And that's okay.
But I don't want to go for my type because they're all idiots. So I have to give someone a chance.
No, I completely agree with you. I guess all I'm saying is that, and it's beautiful that it happened that way.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful that it happened that way. But when you hear guys, if you hear that, tell that story to guys and you hear guys be like, I would never do that for 4 months and stuff. It's because, especially if a guy, I'll be honest with you, most guys have done that to a girl and been completely played by her. Like most guys have done that to a girl, been there for her, talked to her, been vulnerable with her, like be a place that she can go to. And I don't want to say played because it might not be intentional. Sometimes it might be. But most guys have done that and she's gone off with another guy. And the reason she went off with that other guy was because maybe he was more confident, maybe he was more attractive, maybe because he was more successful. And so guys go, okay, cool. I know then that me doing that doesn't necessarily mean that she's attracted to me, at least to the degree that this would need to work.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So while it's beautiful that happened, I'll be honest, like, you don't mind me saying, do you have children?
Yeah, I have two.
Do you have a son?
Yeah.
I would never recommend for your son to try and talk to a girl for 5 months online. And she's like, I'm not going to meet with you until we've talked for 3 months. Because I would just be like, I'll just be like, well, she's not that into you, Timmy. I'm sorry. We
didn't say, right, we're not going to meet you until here.
Yeah,
but it was more like we planned to meet, and you know, it is nerve wracking, especially with social media and stuff. It's like,
did you bail on him? You said you planned to meet. Did you bail on him?
No, I didn't.
Go on.
Didn't bail on him.
So what happened? Why did you?
It was just like it was a situation where it wasn't just me. He wasn't ready neither.
You didn't answer the question.
What?
You said that you planned to meet, but then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Why?
Because situations happened and it just couldn't.
On your end?
No, actually, not mine.
Oh, he cancelled on you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
And that's I don't believe her, guys.
I don't believe her, but I'll take it.
I'm being deadly serious.
Okay,
it was him,
enough.
not me.
Okay.
And I'm normally the one that doesn't turn up.
Wait. Hold on. So you're telling me, wait, I want to get this straight. You're telling me that you planned to meet a guy that you knew fundamentally at first you weren't attracted to, but he cancelled on you, and he was the one who talked to you for 4 months and he was trying to meet with you, but he cancelled on you?
Yeah.
You be the jury. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I understood, like I understand like his reasons. I was okay with that. I understand. I get it.
Okay.
His side, it was more, was you going to find me attractive? Was you just going to walk out because I'm not your normal type?
Sure.
So the nerves got the better, and I understand that. I get that.
Right.
So
how did that make you feel when you said that to you?
I was upset, don't get me wrong. I was upset in the sense that I had never ever had anybody do that to me. I was always the one that done that to people, and that was my karma, I think. Like
just the one guy.
Yeah, I was like, this really hurt me, and I don't know. I was like, I actually think maybe, because in my behalf, I was like, well, do you not like me? Like, is there something wrong? But I said to him, I was like, do you want a couple of days to think about things, and I'm going to take a step back? We speak to each other every day, all day. I think you need to figure out what you want.
Is that what you said to him?
Down. I said that to him. Yeah, I said,
yeah, that's fair.
And I'll give you that time. That's fine. And then like 2 days later, he was like, I just got really nervous, and I understood over the last 2 days, not speaking to you, that my feelings are genuine, and I do want to meet you. Okay, so then we met. Yeah.
Where is he now? Where is he now? Is he still around?
Me and him are not together now, but that's because I'm not ready. I'm not ready for that commitment. I have so many bad things about me, not that I'm unaware of. So I have bipolar and I have schizophrenia.
Okay.
I have coping strategies for both illnesses. I'm not medicated just because I was medicated and it made me act irrational. Right. And that's a different topic.
Yeah, but, of course. Yeah.
Which I'm happy to speak about. But this subject, it was more in the sense that he didn't deserve what I came with. So I much prefer that I was in a better situation mentally, and what's meant for you will be for you in the end. So
did you end things?
It was more like a mutual thing. Like, it was just unfair. I'm an overthinker. I'm paranoid. I don't feel good enough. I have insecurities.
Okay.
So you start to like...
self-sabotage?
You do, yeah. And you then take it out on that person. You don't like them going into other places. As women... it doesn't matter what the guy looks like. We believe that every woman sees you like we do. So if we really love you, if we really, really love you, oh my goodness, everybody must love him too because I do.
But you would have thought that with guys you've been with before, especially since the guys you've been with before, at least initially, you found them more attractive. But yet you stayed with them.
I put up with a lot. I mean, I stayed with him. My husband. He's the father of my children. He's the reason I turned to Christianity. I moved to South Africa just to make my marriage work. I flew to the other side of the world just to make my marriage work. But that's because I don't like to give up on people, and I will understand and reason with people.
Sure.
Like, I understand we're both young. There's going to be mistakes made. And I'll forgive and I'll forgive and I'll forgive until I can't anymore.
Sure.
And it was the same with my previous relationship. I would understand and I would forgive until I can't forgive anymore. But now I won't do that again.
You won't forgive?
I won't tolerate what I tolerated before.
Yeah, I mean, if what you tolerated before was what I would call a sackable offense, like, you know, something extreme in a relationship, then 100%. But if you're gonna have a relationship over a long period of time, people will make mistakes.
Yeah, they do.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't think it's, and sometimes you can be like, I forgive you, but I have to let you go. Sometimes that's a thing, right? Because actually, technically, when we forgive people, we don't forgive them for them, we forgive them for ourselves.
Yeah.
So we don't hold on to that energy.
Yeah.
So I think being able to forgive is actually really powerful because it actually serves you. But yeah, I think we have to be careful that sometimes we can, just because we forgive someone, that doesn't mean, it depends what it is, really. But if it's not a sackable offense, then you just grow from that.
You do. And it's also with me, coming from the background I do now, forgiveness is one of our things we have to forgive.
What is that background? Tell us.
Just Christianity. We forgive. Like you say, we more forgive them for ourselves and because it's a sin. You can't hold that grudge against someone. And I always believe, well, what was they going through? Why did they do that? And what is the Lord trying to teach me?
Yeah.
By putting me through this.
Yeah. Because
there is a silver lining at the end of everything you go through. It doesn't matter how bad it is.
Sure.
And I knew that a lot of what I went through was to teach me something. And I always navigate what that is in the end.
Yeah.
I might think, Lord, why is it happening to me? Why have you put me through that? Why didn't you protect me from that? And then I understand in the end, okay, this is why. And every single time it's made complete sense.
Great.
So
I hear that.
Yeah. And I think I just wouldn't now tolerate what I've been through because I've already been through that lesson and the Lord's shown me this is what's going to happen if you go for that.
If you do this.
This is how it's going to end.
Yeah, I get that.
To avoid that. Yeah. Come away from it. And every guy that is my type, that is the ending road to that. All of them. So
if he's on steroids, watch out.
I will never ever be around with steroids.
That's so funny.
Ever again.
I don't blame you. What's something, you brought some stuff you want to talk about. Yes. What's something you want to bring to the conversation?
So, this is, would a man, any man, I'm not just saying you.
Yeah.
Do you think a man would be open to a long distance relationship?
Yeah, I think men are open to it. I think they are. I think, my personal opinion, I think they only work if there is a level of intention to close that gap.
Right.
Like, I don't think it's like, okay, you live in San Francisco, I live here, and we're in a relationship, but we have no kind of near future plans to close that gap, because then at that point it's like, well, why are you together? Unless, I mean, some people have like an open relationship, so it's long distance, but then you're connecting with other people. Like, I don't know how feasible that is, especially when you're not in the same place. Like, having an open relationship when you're in the same place is already hard enough. So to do it when you're in two separate countries, that's different. So are men open to it? They can be, for sure. I think the biggest thing for men, depending on the type of guy, probably not the guy you told me about, you know, kind of talking to you for 4 months before you met with him, but maybe the kind of guy that I would suspect maybe you would be into initially. For him, it's going to be, okay, the sexual intimacy part is going to be important, and that's going to be unfulfilled if you're in two different countries. So it's like, Do you not think?
I mean, I think so. But again, I think I'm so towards not running before I can walk that a long distance relationship, because a lot of women say, like, I could never be in that, or how are you doing that? And to me, I just feel like that gives you the chance to better yourself while having that companion.
Yep.
From a distance. And a lot of men look for that too, actually. So,
but you can have a companion where you're not physically exclusive to them, though. You can still have that companion. Like the sex part does not define the companionship.
Yeah. I feel like, me personally, I'm a really loyal person. So if I was with someone long distance, it would have to be he's not going elsewhere.
Sure. And that's for you. But I'm just saying, like, from a guy's perspective, that's going to be the main thing. Especially if because it's going to be, think about it this way, it's especially if he likes you, he's really into you and he wants you. And he's like, I'm attracted to you, Billie, and everything. And you guys are talking and stuff, and he can't do anything about it. That is very frustrating.
Yeah.
And that's not saying that guys can't handle that, because I was in a long distance relationship at one point. I was in a relationship with a girl who was in Australia, literally the other side of the world. Right. Do you know what I mean? But we closed that distance within 6 months of us meeting. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And what can happen is that they can start to resent the lack of physical intimacy part of the relationship so much, it looks like they then start to resent the relationship. And it's like, they don't resent the relationship, they resent this part that you guys can't do and can't have. So I think, I mean, if you have a distance, but you're seeing each other like once a month, that's different. But if you're like, we're in long distance and I'm not going to see him till September, I'm like, I don't even know what the point is.
Yeah.
Like you basically have, it's more than a pen pal, because romantic feelings can be involved, but there's a level of intimacy that you don't have. And usually it's that intimacy that defines it being romantic. Does that make sense? Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. Because I always thought to myself, like, could that be the route that I should go down? Because I have all this time, I need all this time to work on myself. I'm not fully ready to have a full boyfriend that's living with me. I'm seeing all the time. I don't have the time for that. I've got work, I've got children, I've got a house, I've got no time to have that full-on relationship. But I know I will do in time, because my free time at the moment is working on myself. I'm putting that time into myself. Yeah. Meditation, yoga, hoop lessons, friends, all of that is a part of my healing that I need to myself. So that time then would be the man's.
So why would you get into a long distance relationship then? What would you be gaining from having a long distance relationship now, if that's your focus?
I feel like having that long distance relationship is, I mean, it can go awfully wrong. This is the scary part of it, because there's two sides. The pros are you learn to trust someone from a distance, and someone that has trust issues, being forced to feel that is a good lesson. Sure. If you have to trust and you have no other choice, I think that's where us women need to be thrown in the deep end. The women that have trust issues need to be thrown in the deep end. That's why I felt like long distance is good for me, because I'm thrown in the deep end, and that's how I always learn, the hard way. And
interesting. It's
also feelings being genuine. It's not just because how I look or my personality. It's more, well, it is personality, but it gives you that time to yourself to work on yourself while having someone there to talk to, because I also don't speak a lot to my friends or family.
Okay.
I don't know why I've always found a lot more comfort in like a man.
Sure.
Speaking them things. But then the cons are it can completely shatter your trust, because it could go wrong and something's happened. And for me, he's not messaged me for like 24 hours. What the freaking hell are you doing? Who are you with then?
I get that. So I mean, any relationship can go wrong, as we know. Yeah. And I get that. That poses its own risk.
But from a distance, you are protecting yourself, because And that's what I mean, a long distance relationship. I have my guard up. So something long distance, I've not got to let you in straight away.
Let him in where though? Because if you're talking to him, you're going to be emotionally vulnerable with him, won't you?
Yeah, but I've always felt like building that connection in person is completely different. That becomes stronger. Your feelings become stronger. Sexually, your souls tie when you have sex with each other. So that then makes the feelings for a woman, a lot stronger.
Okay. So my original question, and correct me if I'm wrong, was what do you gain? Because you said how what you're focusing on now, you can't really invite a present relationship into your life, like a present guy into your life. But you're like, you'd be open to having a long distance one. Yeah. And I'm like, what do you gain from having a long distance one now? And it sounds like you gain someone that you can talk to, that you can confide in, like a level of companionship. Yeah. Okay. I get that.
Why are you doing that look for?
I'm trying to find a word that is very, I'll be honest, it's very self-serving.
Yeah, it is.
Because the equivalent would be like a guy being like, I don't really have time to talk to a girl. I don't really have time to take her out on dates. I don't really have time to listen to what she has to say or to confide in her. But I still have my sexual needs. So I'm just going to have a girl to have sex with. And then I'm going to do me.
I think that's okay if you're honest about it.
I completely agree. But then is that a relationship?
No. But it could end up in a relationship.
But that itself isn't a relationship?
No.
And what I'm saying
is it is a selfish thing from my behalf. And I'd openly say that. And I'd be honest. Like, I just want to learn how to trust. And if I fall for you in that time, then I fall for you. And that's down to you.
I completely get that.
This is me. And if you don't like it, then that's your own problem.
Completely get that. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, the man that you would choose to love and respect would not accept that from you. He would be like, Billie, if you and I are together, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to love you, etc., etc. The presence of the relationship is important. Me just being your pen pal is not enough for me. And if you're not ready to do more than that, that's absolutely fine. But then this isn't going to be a thing. You come back to me when you're ready. And if I'm available, then we can see. Yeah. Because just being honest, and thank you for being honest, but you even admitted, you're like, okay, I get that's pretty selfish of me. Yeah. But the guy who would accept that, you wouldn't respect.
I would.
I don't think you would.
I would, 1,000,000%.
Really?
Yeah, I would, because I'm a respectful person.
I don't mean you would disrespect him, but I don't think you would have the level of respect in him a man would need for the relationship to work.
I think where I have been through certain experiences, that type of behaviour will actually make me feel more comfortable with him. If he was to turn around and say, look, I'm happy with this and that, but I'm not gonna.
Sorry. So what I mean is a guy who wants more, but is willing to accept that. Yeah. Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
For me, yeah, like that shows he is, he's putting me before him, which I would also do with him. But I'm very, very...
Would you though?
I wouldn't make it obvious that I'd put him before me to start off with, because I've been there before. I've done that. I've put men before me my whole life, always. So if he's putting me before himself, that's showing that he actually does care, and I find comfort in that. I wouldn't be put off if he accepted it. That would not put me off in the slightest.
I don't think initially it would. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, I don't think you'd be like, oh, if a guy would accept this from me, then, then I'm not going to mess with him. But I do believe fundamentally that a man who caters himself to the woman's desires in its entirety, she can't respect him. Because the man that, if you're a woman who looks to a man for leadership, his priority should be the mission, not the desires of the woman. Now, a level of priority should definitely be, if you're the woman I'm bringing along with me, I want to make sure your needs met. I want to make sure that the decisions I make help serve you, that help serve us, 100%. Yeah. But if there's something that you want in desire that he is willing to sacrifice his mission, his purpose to fulfill your desires, I don't believe that fundamentally that as a man you would trust or choose. This is an example I'll give. Imagine, this actually might happen the way the world is. Imagine taking the Second World War and there's a draft, right? There's a draft. Men are drafted for the front lines and you're living with a man, maybe you have a child together and you're like, babe, I don't want you to go to war. Like, I know it's your duty, etc., but I don't want you to go. Like, I love you. I want you to stay. He might go, okay, babe, I'm not going to go to war. I'm not going to fight for my country and I'm going to stay. Now, initially you'll be like, oh my gosh, thank God. Like, my man's not doing that. I have him. But deep down, you know, as is his duty to go, and you would have lost a bit of respect for him. What he should do and be like, baby, I love you. And it's because I love you, I'm going to go do this for us. Because I'm going to put myself in the front line so you don't have to. Even though you want me to stay, I'm going to go anyway. And that's the kind of man that you want to choose.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of man who doesn't cater his mission for your desires. And if a guy's mission is to have a relationship, is to have a woman who has presence in his life and he wants to be a presence in her life. If that's what he wants, he's not going to accept being your pen pal and he's exclusive to you? Long distance? No freaking way.
Well,
no way. Not the kind of man that I think most women want. He wouldn't accept that. I would never tell any man to accept that, and he shouldn't. Yo, guys, sorry. We have to end the episode there. We had a technical difficulty with the second camera. So unfortunately, we had to end the episode there. However, we had a great chat with Billie. It only went on for another 10 minutes. So sorry about that, guys. But if you do want to follow Billie on Instagram, you can find her at BillieBowPeep97. That's BillieBowPeep97. She was a great chat. And I'll definitely get her on again because we could have chatted for another hour. We chatted for another 15 minutes. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties on this episode, but I appreciate you for watching and I will see you in the next episode.